Hello, my name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89 at VA Claims Consulting, Leave No Vet Behind, and also I'm a United States Army veteran. Today, I'm bringing another educational video as it pertains to the VA disability compensation claims process. And today, I'm going to be discussing why, when, and where did I get my DBQs and Nexus statements. Okay, but before we get into today's video, make sure you follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, you can go to our website. It's KMD89.com, KMD89.com. There's Kilo Mike Delta 89.com, and all that information is provided in the description section of this video. Okay? So, with that being said, today's video, why, when, and where did I obtain my DBQs and Nexus statements? And a lot of my training events, veterans ask, well, my private doctor won't do, my primary care physician at the VA won't do a DBQ and Nexus statement. Or where did you get yours? Or they'll get them done, but they don't know if they're completed correctly. So today I'm going to discuss what was my path that I took in obtaining this information. Okay, so before I get into those three, the why, when, and where, when I first filed my claim, there was no DBQs. Veterans had to go to the VA C&P exam. There was no third-party contractors at the time, so there was long wait times to even get a C&P exam at the VA. Okay, so why? Why did I start using why did I start getting my own DBQs completed and Nexus statements? I had, over a course of 4 years, my 4 C&P exams were done at the VA, okay? As you probably seen some of my other videos, 2 exams went exceptionally well. The examiners, they were, I felt that they were advocates for veterans. 2 of the C&P exams went extremely horrible. Within minutes of walking in that door, the energy was just negative from the VA C&P examiner. I knew no matter what I said or what they looked at, they were going to deny me, okay? But for all exams, all the C&P exams that I did, I went to the Release of Information office and received a copy of those C&P exams, okay? So whenever you go to the VA, you can go to the Release of Information office and get this information. Now you can go to myhealthyvet.gov and get it. Back then, they didn't have it, okay? So the reason why I obtained my own DBQs from my private physicians and the Nexus statements is because of those 2 horrible exams. When I got a copy of those exams, a lot of information was incorrect. They put down information that they didn't even ask me. They answered questions for me that they never even asked. I mean, it was outrageous, okay? So when the DBQs, when the VA introduced the DBQs, I was like, you know what? I'm never going to another C&P exam, okay? And I didn't. Even though a couple of times in my last claims they requested exams, I was like, I'm not going, I'm using DBQs because I just didn't trust that I was going to get a VA C&P examiner to be honest in completing that DBQ. So that's why I went out and I obtained my own DBQs and my Nexus statements. Now, when did I do that? I just talked about it when the VA introduced the DBQs, okay? Again, before the DBQs were introduced, you had to go to the VA C&P examiner. There's no way around it. Now, you could have submitted evidence from your private doctor, but, it wasn't in the form of a C&P exam. It was basically diagnosis. So after that last C&P exam, DBQs came out. I want to say maybe like a month or 2, a few months. And I looked at them, I was like, wow. And I was still filing claims. And I was like, I put a pause on everything because I was like, if I file a claim now, they're going to request an exam. And back then they didn't have an intent to file, okay? But I really wasn't worried about that. I was like, I got the DBQs, I understand them. You know, I'm going to do this myself. I'm not going to entrust a VA CMP examiner. So it leads into the where. Where did I get my DBQs and Nexus statements completed, okay? So I had a podiatrist that was already treating me for my flat feet. So my claim for my flat feet, I was like, okay, let me check with him. My back, I had a chiropractor. Let me check with him. But for my ear condition, and I think it was my ankle and migraines, I didn't have a doctor. So what I did, I contacted my podiatrist and my chiropractor, and I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm filing a claim with the VA for service connection for conditions I sustained while on active duty. I can't get the VA to do it. I told them about the 2 horrible exams, CMP exams that I had, and I didn't want to go through that again. And I told them how they could help me by filling out these DBQs. Those 2 doctors, the podiatrist and the chiropractor, said, yep, whatever we need to do, I'm on board. So I was like, cool. But for the migraines, the ankle, the ankle and my ear condition, I didn't have a doctor. So I went to my insurance website, and on most insurance websites, they have find a doctor. So I just printed out like 25 doctors in my immediate area, and I started calling. And when I talked to the receptionist, I told them who I was, why I wanted to come in and see the doctor. And I said, before I even come in, you know, I don't want to waste the doctor's time or my time if they're not willing to do it, okay? And a lot of them said, nope, we don't do that, we don't do that. And then there was a couple, they kept saying, well, that's Social Security, that's unemployment. I was like, it has nothing to do with Social Security, it has nothing to do with unemployment. That's something totally different. So they didn't know about, veterans, getting evidence, veterans obtaining evidence for service connection through the VA. And so I found 3 doctors, and one of them, my ear doctor, he was like, when I went to see him, he was like, yeah, I used to be a doctor over at VA, and now I work for a different practice. Yeah, I know how things go over there. Anything you need. And I was like, wow. And the migraine doctor, neurologist, same thing. Ankle doctor, he was kind of wishy-washy, but he was like, yeah, I'll do it. But the chiropractor was like, Nexus statement, I don't know what that is. All of them didn't know what a Nexus statement was. So then my chiropractor asked me, he said, hey, give me an example of a Nexus statement. And I was like, okay. So I came up with a template, and just like a John Doe, when I brought it, the DBQ in and the template that I created for the Nexus statement, he was like, oh, okay, yeah. Now I just need to get an MRI on your back. I was like, I already got one. He's like, yeah, bring it in, fill it out, and pick a day to make an appointment, make sure my last appointment of the day, and we'll go through the DBQ. I was like, cool. He filled it out in front of me. He looked at all my evidence, the way I was claiming it, other medical records. He filled it out, and then I submitted it to the VA. Same way with my podiatrist. I told him exactly, hey, I'm not getting, any luck with examiners, CMP examiners at the VA to complete these correctly. And they're not listening to what I'm saying, and they're just jotting down what they want to jot down, and it doesn't necessarily pertain to any answers that I give them. And he was like, yep, you're a veteran. I appreciate you for your service. I'll go ahead, whatever you need me to do. Brought the DBQ in. We sat down one day in his office. He had access to all my private medical records that he had previously treated me for. I showed him copies of my service treatment records from when my entrance exam from the MEPS, my service treatment records. I complained about foot pain, and he looked at all that. He was able to complete a DBQ and a Nexus Statement. Same way with the neurologist for the migraines, the ENT doctor for my ear condition, and the doctor, the medical doctor that did one for my ankle. So that's where I obtained my DBQs and Nexus Statements. Did it take some work? Yes. Did it take time? Yes. But I was willing to put in that work and take the time because I didn't want to have to go back to a VA C&P exam and run the risk of going through what I went through with those two doctors that were just, they were horrible. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to explain it. They were just horrible, and I didn't want to go through that again. Now, I'm not saying every C&P examiner is like that, but out of the 4 that I had, those 2, even now, when I go back in my, when I received a copy of my VA claims folder from the VA on CD, and I even have hard copies of them, I look at them and I'm just like, man, how can they get away with just putting down whatever? You know, they didn't ask me this, they didn't ask me that, I didn't say that, I didn't say this, but they put it on paper, and unfortunately, that's all the VSR and the RVSR has to go off of. You know, so it's not their fault, the VSR and the RVSR, because that's what this doctor is sending back to the regional office. So I was like, okay, let me take matters into my own hands, and that's why and when and where. A lot of veterans, they don't want to take the time to go through and find a doctor. And even now, I know doctors now that are willing to, you know, do DBQs for veterans, you know, whether it be for, you know, medical doctor or nurse practitioner or even mental health provider, you know, but there are some out there that won't do it. And, you know, there's some that think that it's for unemployment, it's for Social Security, and that's not what it's for. So I had to explain that to my doctor. So once I explained that to those doctors, then they were like, okay, but that list of 25, I didn't find anybody until maybe around the 14th, 15th, 16th doctor. Everybody up before that, they were like, we don't care what it's for, we're not doing it. Okay, not a problem, not mad at you. I'll call the next doctor, okay? So with that being said, please like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Don't forget to share. Also, quick reminder, we have our live streams every other Wednesday. So it's coming up this, this next Wednesday coming up. We're going to do our live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hope to see you there. If not, I'll see you in my next educational video. Thank you.